Among the most surprising plot points in Gold Rush history can be found in John Schnabel's account of a boy who began working at the tender age of 12, endured the Great Depression, enlisted in the military during World War II, and, despite returning from the war with nothing, became one of the most renowned gold miners of the modern era. Join me if you're up for a tale of unfiltered human drama, of a man's dogged quest of fortune and the tragic loss he endured on his journey. Putting together video evidence of people's real-life battle to collect gold has always been the reality TV show Gold Rush. The show shows how these diligent workers endure a lot of hardships for no apparent reason. The show's rapid popularity was not unexpected given that its themes resonated with viewers' real-life experiences. Plus, a lot of people started rooting for certain minor characters on the show. Popular among viewers was John Schnabel, a seasoned miner and sage guide who clearly loved his work. His pleasant nature and placid appearance belied a guy of incredible strength who had endured countless catastrophes that had profoundly impacted his life. But before we go into these tragic events, let's take a moment to learn about John Schnabel. How did he become a recognized face? New Almeno, Kansas was the site of John's birth in the 1920s. His family departed for the West Coast when he was just 3 years old. While he was a child, his father Frank Schnabel emigrated to Alaska from the little town of Klamath Falls in Oregon, which was heavily forested. At the time, the United States was smack dab in the thick of the Great Depression. After joining the ranks of the unemployed, Frank set out for Alaska in search of jobs and better chances. Frank would not see his family again for another 6 years. By the time John was nearly an adult, the family had learned to cope with the difficulties of the Great Depression on their own during the years his father had been away. In particular, John's father's absence had compelled him to mature into a man. He was already a responsible young man when he earned his first money as a paperboy when he was 12 years old. He bought bread and cheese for his family. He has been employed ever since. John was a senior at Oregon's Klamath Falls High School when his dad returned, although the youngster looked much older than his actual age. He started working for the Weyerhaeuser Timber Company right after finishing high school. In addition to putting money aside for future travel, the job gave him practical experience in the lumber sector, which helped him prepare for the difficulties of running a sawmill. The idea of purchasing a $500 sawmill boiler, engine, and wagon that had burned out came from his father. As far as John was concerned, this concept offered them a way out of the shackles of manual labor and into a brighter future. Even though it was mentally and physically taxing, John nonetheless quit his job at Weyerhaeuser with only $38, some tools, and the desire to contribute to their future. John worked so hard on his way to be with his family, and you should know that. As the ship he had aboard made stops at several ports, he helped unload cargo at each one. Unfortunately, a celebratory celebration was neither possible nor feasible upon arrival home. Without hesitation, the family dove headfirst into the arduous task that lay before. All the laborious and physically demanding lifting, rolling of logs, and transportation of timber had to be done by hand because the mill his father had purchased was powered by just one steam engine. For the following 8 years, the family lived in a little cabin that they had constructed, measuring just 12 by 16 feet. Even though their humble cottage didn't have running water or electricity, he, his father, brother, and uncle were determined to make the most of their situation. After all, they didn't have much of a choice. The men of the household spent their days laboring on building sites, contributing to the edification of a community gymnasium. They went back to the mill that night and worked non-stop to make enough lumber for the gym the following day. John joined the building crew as well, wanting to do his part. I learned a lot and had a lot of fun that year for John. Working half-time at the mill and full-time on the building site allowed him to acquire invaluable knowledge and abilities. John went back to work for Weyerhaeuser Timber Company for the winter in late September, when the weather started to cool down. John was leading his life in this manner, operating the mill in the summer and the business in the winter. However, the assault on Pearl Harbor and the subsequent decision by the United States to engage World War II changed everything. John gave up his life working in construction and the mill to join the Naval Air Corps and fight for his country. An account of John's role in the war effort. His time in the Army Air Corps was filled with a wide range of duties. He helped the war effort, and he gained skills that would last a lifetime. John and his brother made it through the battle unscathed, and they got right back to work at the family sawmill. Things weren't, however, back to how they had been. The mill was in a state of disrepair when the brothers got there. Subsidence of the mill building and the surrounding environment were both caused by the heavy snowfall. They were notified that their lease was up before they could even think about making repairs. John paid almost $10,000 in attorney fees to settle the property sale with all 42 heirs. John finally succeeded in acquiring the land after much tenacity, substantial financial outlay, and the successful navigation of intricate legal and bureaucratic hurdles. However, getting the title to the land was a tedious and time-consuming process. After more than 3 years, someone finally signed the paperwork that had been sitting on a desk. In spite of this setback, John and his brother still intended to reconstruct the mill site. As part of their restoration work, they uncovered the remnants of a sawmill that had previously chopped lumber for another mine at an abandoned gold mine. The mill was back up and running by September. The renovated plant was a huge step forward, increasing daily lumber production to 10,000 board feet. Keep in mind that John and his family's little, ramshackle mill could hardly turn out 1,000 lumbers even a decade ago. But their expansion had paid off, and they could now supply the region's soaring demand for lumber, solidifying their position in the economy. Their perseverance shone through in this achievement. Despite this accomplishment, John's father passed away around the same time, and his brother and business partner had tied the knot, so John was also stepping back from the firm. The mill was entrusted to John to manage alone. Then he did something daring. He borrowed $100,000 to refurbish the mill. He was able to greatly boost output thanks to the investment. But then a horrible event occurred. Tragically, the expanded mill was about to begin operations when disaster struck. The whole mill went up in smoke when an employee carelessly set a torch on fire. The severe financial loss befell John because he lacked fire insurance. To repay the bank debt, he had to liquidate his goods. And he went bankrupt as a result. John was fortunate to have a $2,000 loan from a local businessman named Forrest Young during this difficult period. John used this as a down payment and, thanks to his stellar reputation in the neighborhood, bought the necessary tools to construct a little portable mill. In the forest, he established a new mill to cater to the Japanese market by cutting cans, which are big, squared-off logs. Within a year of starting this business, John had paid off all of his debts. Growing families were able to take advantage of the mill's stable employment and other benefits as it expanded. John felt great satisfaction in knowing that his work had a positive impact on both his family's financial stability and the community's overall progress and prosperity. People were looking for work, and we had enough of them, he said. Living here brought them a sense of comfort. Earning enough to live comfortably and contribute to the improvement of their living conditions here. John, though, had more to accomplish. Much of the man's potential remained untapped. Once he retired, he focused on a new project, a gold mine in Porcupine, that required all his efforts. John, in the 1980s, after suffering a heart attack, looked for ways to keep moving and involved in something important. He began a new chapter in his life and a personal endeavor when he decided to buy the Big Nugget mine. The mine gave his life meaning. Working there kept him mentally and physically engaged, and it also helped others recognize and appreciate Alaska's mining heritage. He restored it and turned it into a historical site and RV park that tourists may enjoy while learning about Alaska's past. The foundation of John's fortune was the Big Nugget mine in Porcupine, Alaska. He strengthened his financial situation as a result of the mine's substantial gold production under his stewardship. His actual wealth was never revealed, although his involvement in the gold rush greatly increased it. Discovery Channel felt the need to air a program that highlighted the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Alaskan people. Thus, the Gold Rush came into being. The show follows family-run mining companies as they navigate the high-stakes business of placer gold mining. The series started off by following the miners' struggles to extract gold from Alaska's unforgiving landscape. Later seasons moved the action to the Klondike region close to Dawson City, Yukon, Canada, from its original focus on mining operations in Alaska. The majority of the mining operations shown in the series eventually took place in this area. A reality TV series based on it quickly gained traction and began airing on networks all over the globe. One of Discovery's longest-running and most-watched reality series, Gold Rush, has completed 14 successful seasons as of 2024. The miners' professional and personal hardships are brought to light in the show as they deal with financial demands, equipment breakdowns, and severe weather. Fans are captivated by the intense drama, complex mechanics, and ever-changing results of the gold mining season. With their moving backstories and profound influence on the show, John and his grandson Parker rose to prominence as two of Gold Rush's most beloved stars. As a seasoned gold miner and former mayor of Haines, Alaska, John quickly rose to prominence in the early years of the Gold Rush. Furthermore, John, the proprietor of the Big Nugget Mine, contributed his decades-long mining expertise, sage advice, and soothing demeanor to the program. He was greatly admired by fans for his optimism, determination, and profound love of mining. The introduction of his grandson Parker to the mining business increased his power. Parker and his grandfather would spend their summers at the mine when he was a kid. At the age of 16, Parker began working as an apprentice to John at the Big Nugget Mine. As Parker took on more and more responsibility, his grandpa could see his meteoric climb to fame, his dogged pursuit of excellence, and his insatiable hunger for knowledge. At the age of 16, John fearlessly chose to entrust Parker with the responsibility of running the Big Nugget Mine in Porcupine Creek. John trusted Parker to lead because he saw his potential and knew he loved mining. He thought it would be a great opportunity for Parker to learn. Parker showed incredible maturity and resolve when he assumed control of the mining operation, considering his youth. Working under John's tutelage, Parker acquired the skills necessary to run a mine, including operating heavy machinery, directing a crew, and coping with the inherent uncertainty of the gold mining process. John was there all the while under Parker's leadership, providing sound advice, words of encouragement, and the benefit of his extensive mining experience. This guidance from his mentor had a profound impact on Parker's mining philosophy and decision-making abilities, especially when faced with high-stakes situations. Parker went out on his own after learning the ropes at Big Nugget, where he became known as a hard worker with big dreams. More ambitious mining projects, especially in Canada's Klondike region, had prompted him to depart. His decision to leave was a watershed moment in his career, signaling his desire to make an impact on a grander stage. John continued operating the Big Nugget Mine on his own after Parker departed to pursue other mining endeavors. John remained actively involved due to his devotion to the family tradition and his love of mining, even though his health was deteriorating with age. His unfaltering encouragement and guidance played a crucial role in molding Parker's mining profession. John and Parker's generational relationship was on full display during this time in Gold Rush, illustrating the handoff of wisdom and authority. The family's prominence in the story was further cemented by Parker's success after departing Porcupine Creek. Thanks to the show's massive viewership and excellent ratings, the family probably made more money from the broadcast and its promotions. Their unwavering commitment and business spirit were instrumental in this triumph, guaranteeing a perpetual heritage for the entire family. However, there were dark moments, such as when John had a heart attack toward the end of the second season of Gold Rush, which was a huge fear for his health. He miraculously recovered from the circumstance, which was quite serious. A prostate cancer diagnosis was made to John at a later date. He was still very much committed to mining even while he fought this disease. Fans respected his perseverance and commitment as he dealt with his health issues, which brought an extra emotional dimension to the performance. In spite of everything that came his way, John remained resolute in his pursuit of mining as a means of providing inspiration to his loved ones and viewers. The fact that Parker was in charge was a blessing. A common topic that resonated with audiences throughout the world was their touching friendship. John had always wanted to mine Smith Creek Hill for its gold, because he thought it had a lot of promise. In Grandpa's Last Wish, an episode of Gold Rush, this wish came true. Grandsons Parker and Payson, who are the offspring of John's son Roger and his wife Nancy, join him in this touching episode. The program beautifully depicted the symbolic and emotional journey of John's family coming together to accomplish his mining dreams. John kept busy at the Big Nugget Mine regardless of his health problems and the fact that he was getting older. His contributions to the mining endeavors persisted. His unwavering devotion and love for the craft shone through in his continuous presence. Tragically, John died at the age of 96 in March 2016, not long after Gold Rush Season 6 concluded. Because of his major role in the adoration of viewers, his death signified the conclusion of an era for the Schnabel family and the program. A special tribute episode named Remembering John Schnabel was broadcasted by the series in celebration of his extraordinary life and legacy. His life and work in the Gold Rush series mining business were honored in the memorial episode. The show's clips showcased John's most remarkable qualities, such as his comedy, his mentorship of Parker, and his optimism in the face of adversity. There was no better father, grandpa, and family man than Schnabel, according to a statement from his loved ones. "We are grateful for your support as we honor his remarkable life. He was a genuine legend." The loss of John hit his loved ones hard, especially Parker, who looked up to his grandfather and considered him a father figure. Parker paid homage to his ancestors' teachings and principles by continuing to devote his mining endeavors to them. celebrating John's remarkable life and the good impact he made on the show and its community. Fans and fellow cast members expressed their appreciation and grief for him. The tribute episode demonstrated how much John had become adored by viewers all over the globe, not only his family. It struck a chord with fans. A cornerstone of Gold Rush was John's narrative. Thanks to the show and Parker's persistent mining success, John Schnabel's legacy lives on.